Show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Well, some people have us rated as having the brightest future of them all. What's up, it's your boy Cintron, come back at you with another analysis video. I kid you not, that's my real name. Stumbled there, but we're going to get into bingo topics. So roll them out, spit them out. A myriad of topics. First, ESPN says Philadelphia has the NFL's brightest future. Well, all right. So the reason for hope, geez, you name it. The Eagles have a loaded roster. We have a ton of guys, young and just to make a good mix of old with a few select elite slew of veterans. A front office that has shown a deft ability to maintain and replenish through the draft, trades, and free agency. So GMing at its finest here with Howie Roseman, a masterclass. A head coach who has established a Super Bowl caliber culture in just 2 seasons. And an exciting young franchise quarterback who's locked in long-term and appears driven to be great. Yeah, unquestioned with Jalen. The Philadelphia sports fan might not be inclined toward optimism, but the team should be changing that. I mean, Philadelphia Eagles, sure. The Phillies, you guys might be on life support. And the 76ers, ugh, man. Anyways, reason for concern. Going into 2022, some wondered whether coach Nick Sirianni and quarterback Jalen Hurts were the right combination for the future of this team. Okay, yeah, I can see that. With you're wondering whether Nick had the wherewithal to be the coach, and Jalen, whether he had the right material stuff to do the job. Those concerns no longer exist. Amen. Instead, focus has shifted to the amount of talent on the coaching staff that has left the organization over the last few months. And, I mean, I get the brain drain with our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator both going off to head coaching jobs. Like the 6th time this has happened. And then the team facing, Super Bowl, has Super Bowl aspirations. 6 times it's happened after the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's concerning, but I believe on defense it's addition by subtraction. With Sean Desai coming in to replace Jonathan Gannon, who's that if you watch my videos, but you don't even watch them. And with Shane Steichen, he was one of the minds in the room having the discussion, but I believe Nick Sirianni is the more important piece when it comes to the offense, him being an offensive-minded coach, and Brian Johnson, the quarterback's coach, who's being elevated, who's known Jalen for over 20 years, and who was a stellar player himself at the college ranks, and had a career here in the NFL as well, will be able to more than replace Shane Steichen and bring his own twist, put his own stamp onto this offense, and highlight different things that Shane Steichen may have shied away from or wasn't as good at bringing to the table, or just was kind of deficient in. Had some times where he was leaning too much on the pass game and forgot about the run, forgot about using Sanders. I believe with the bevy of running backs we have in our stable, it's the perfect combination of the coaches and Brian Johnson coming in, and a slew of running backs who we're going to use in a myriad of different ways and highlight their individual talents and skills. So instead, okay, let's get back to the article here. Both coordinators have gone on to become head coaches, as we just talked about, leaving new offensive coordinator Brian Johnson and defensive coordinator Sean Desai to lead what is arguably the best roster in the NFL back to the Super Bowl and win it this time. So I'm not even talking Super Bowl. We're talking Super Bowl aspirations, of course, because that's the goal for all 32 teams, because everybody's now 0-0 and that has the same playing field. It's even as of right now. But that being said, what we have to work with, I think we have some, a great roster, both on offense and defense. And granted, we lost 5 starters on defense. We had to replace some guys, but having guys already on the roster and top echelon talent coming in by way of, the draft, as well as free agency and the trade market, some not top talent, but, just adequate to fit, what we need, and retaining guys. We've done more than enough to, keep the defense at the same level, if not make it more proficient in some areas. Not saying we're going to, exceed what we did last year in sacks, but if we can be a better run-stopping defense, that will go a long ways towards aggregating those sacks. Offense, only have to replace 2 guys, and then, with running back being kind of like a plug-and-play position, and then having 4 very talented offensive lineman surrounding them with a guy who's even average, he'll do just fine. All right. Can the duo get it done? I believe they can. Stat to know, defensive tackle Jordan Davis was limited to only 217 defensive snaps during his rookie season. Damn, only 217? So light. But did show serious promise as a run stuffer. His 41% run stop win rate, say that 3 times fast, as an interior rusher would have ranked 7th at the position had he qualified, so he didn't play enough defensive snaps. And his 1.1 yards of push vertical movement in the first 2.5 seconds of a run play, per ESPN metrics using NFL Next Gen stats, would have ranked 5th. So, I mean, it just goes to show he makes a world of difference being out there. The guy literally blocks out the sun. He's a behemoth, 6'6", 330 pounds, and athletic to boot. Not, saying he's just a stone wall there. He's not like I forget the Browns D tackle they had at behemoth, 2 guys, but like a Ted Washington. He's huge, but he can move. Runs a 4.78. So yeah, we're looking for him to have not a bounce back, but build upon what he learned last year and kind of take the next step, elevate. All right, Dennis Kelly returned. We talked about that in the previous video, but adds key depth if he makes it through training camp. Which current NFL starters could break their team's franchise passing record? Definitely Jalen Hurts. He's on the early side, almost 8,000 yards, 7,906 yards. Yeah, it's way too early to have a discussion. He's only had 2 years full-time of starting, and he, exponentially had a meteoric rise in his second season starting. So that's going to be the standard, of course, that Jalen's going to be measured by moving forward every season hereafter. But that being said, that's very attainable. Like, if it's 6,000 yards or like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady level, I would be like, whoa. But that's very attainable. All right, 2023 offensive line rankings, establish a run. So Eagles, Jeff Stoutland, left tackle Jordan Mailata, left guard Landon Dickerson, center Jason Kelsey, right guard Tyler Steen. So they're slating him in there. He would be the better fit with a run profile. But I don't know how. I mean, we don't know. It's all projection. Right tackle Lane Johnson. Position spending rank, $48.2 million, so 10th. So not even that high for it being the best offensive line out there. The Eagles were my top unit heading into the 2022 season and remain in the top tier throughout the year. They're all set to return 4 of their 5 starters, including their 4 best. I mean, that just goes to tell you that even though Isaac Seumalo was a Pro Bowler in the past and a Pro Bowl alternate this past season, he wasn't even one. He was the least talented of the bunch, and the guy coming in behind him, Tyler Steen, or I believe it would be Cam Jurgens winning that battle, could be more talented. So Steen was a left tackle in college with the play strength and physicality suited to make a transition successfully inside as a pro, where he will be flanked by 2 Hall of Fame caliber players in Lane Johnson at right tackle and Jason Kelsey at center. So a great position. Like, that's why people were so overblowing this argument that you're putting the guy who's playing. He was drafted as a center playing at guard. First of all, it's easier transition from center to guard. Not like you're going out to the outside, kicking to the outside outside of the phone booth, and your technique has to vary greatly from a setting, pass set to like kind of like being in a chain link with the guy next to you. And yeah, it's just the guy is pretty talented. He's athletic. He's not the biggest guy, which is the knock, because people are like, we have to bang there at guard. I get that, but he's shown that what he brings to the table, he has the requisite skills to make the transition for the interim. Because when Jason Kelsey hangs it up, we're gonna slot him right in at center. All right, led by arguably the game's best developer of O-line talent, and Jeff Stoutland, that he is, Stoutland University. This is a star-studded group with quality depth: Cam Jurgens, Jack Driscoll, and potentially Dennis Kelly. But I believe Cam, you switch him and Tyler here, who operate in a run-heavy scheme that is built around accentuating their talent. It's going to be an interesting battle, though, in training camp. All right, training camp position preview, edge rusher. Nolan Smith, the team's second first-round pick, he was picked 31st overall, was a two-time national champion at Georgia, where he finished his career with 114 tackles, 21 tackles for loss, and 11.5 sacks. At the NFL Combine, Smith was the heaviest player to ever run a sub 4.4, 4.39 in a 40-yard dash, and elite 40-plus inches, 41.5 in the vertical jump. So, I mean, just showing his athletic profile, he's the number 4 rusher. We're not going to ask him to be a world beater to come out and do it all. What's great about this defense is he can come and just be a cog in the machine and rotate in and out. So we're throwing a bevy of pass rushers with different skills and different attributes. You know, some more likely to use power to speed or speed, and then other ones use speed to power. Other ones use the bull rush, an example of Brandon Graham. So our aggregation of talent there, man, just is going to overwhelm offenses, kind of like it did last season. And we look forward to seeing what Nolan Smith can bring, because the guy, you know, he's just like an Energizer Bunny. He's like a younger version of Brandon Graham and the energy that he brings. And he's going to be further along in his development because of Brandon Graham. Wow, damn, that's incredible. Brandon Graham being where he is and giving him that knowledge, and him just going out and seeking that for himself and going to Denver edge rushers, what's his name? Von Miller's pass rushing camp. So look forward to him being a big net positive for the defense. All right, training camp. Again, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and other issues that could sabotage the 2023 season. So let's look at this. Kobe Dean can't handle it. Again, no one has been more bullish on Kobe Dean than I have. He was the best player on Georgia on that Georgia defense, but he's an undersized middle linebacker at 5'11" and 231 pounds. As a rookie last year, he wasn't able to unseat ordinary veteran T.J. Edwards, and he'll be asked to run a newly installed scheme as a first-time starter. No one will be work under a more penetrating microscope this camp than Dean, but it's as if he's being set up to fail. Like, where is this Debbie? I mean, if I get issues that could, but this is more in the issue in the vein of that one Eagles beat writer who said Jalen is the most insecure athlete out there, and like in Philadelphia, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? What the fuck are you looking at? It's easy to see here that like Fletcher Cox, they're bringing up, like his age, but he's going to be in a rotation, even if he is a starter. He's bringing, his experience to the table of 10 seasons plus, and 10 seasons, and like we're not counting on him like last year to be the guy to play more than 40% of the snaps, and that's the role that he's most proficient in, and he's going to be most effective in. So why is it like they're pretending like we don't have depth, and then we don't have and that like the talent behind these guys are not going to bring it? Like we're not don't have just Jags there behind these guys. There's legitimate people that can start on the second string, maybe even on the third string, some guys that could start for some teams out there. So, I mean, it's crazy. Brandon Graham, also his age, and, he's also working in a rotation. We're not counting on him to have 11 sacks, but his knowledge that he's going to pass on to the next generation is valuable. His presence and his, abundant energy that he brings. And, like, for example, in the Colts game, when he asked to switch sides so he could take advantage of an inexperienced tackle and, use his pass rushing moves to exploit the young man and, got the sack. It was like just an afterthought. I'm like, damn, Brandon, when he made the switch, he made it confidently because he knows he's going to be able to exploit this guy. And what did he do? He he put the guy in a clown suit. And then the Kobe Dean. Most linebackers in this day and age, we're living in a different era. We're no longer in the era of the Jeremiah Trotter, the sledgehammer at middle linebacker, who's like 6 foot plus and 250 pounds plus, and just has to run them out, run stuffing capabilities. We have guys out there that just run sideline to sideline patrol, more in the vein of a Ray Lewis, who can do a little bit of everything. And Nakobe Dean, he's small. In fact, 5'11", 231 pounds, just right around the modern era where the middle linebackers are, 230 to 240 range. But he can also hold his own in pass coverage. You go and look at the film; it's a very limited sample size, but he's running out and covering the tight end, running with him up the seam. Like, so, this is prime linebacking. All he has to do is hold that unit together, patrol, see, hit, run. I mean, and run with the guys. That's it. the defensive line in front of him is going to get after the passer, and behind him, they're going to hold on the pass. So all he has to do is patrol that area in between, and we're good. And like, it's going to be easier with, run stuffers in front of him making lanes so that he can shoot those gaps. And like, we're not going to ask him to go out there and be Ray Lewis in this defense. He's his role has been very defined, and yes, he's going to be calling the plays, but he's an intelligent guy as well. I think he might have had a majored in engineering. So, anyways, these things are being overblown. I get it. It's off season. You don't have shit to talk about. But yeah. All right. DeMarco Murray and Tony Pollard could have similar exits from the Cowboys. So they franchise tagged him, and they might just use him up and spit him out. This also to go with the Zach Martin issue that he wants to be paid, and he's holding out of training camp, as well as we'll get to this guy below. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, all our guys are paid and satisfied for the most part. The guy that was a malcontent that didn't want to agree to contract, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, left for non-greener pastures, except $6.5 million, $8 million overall with bonuses and stuff like that, but wasn't anywhere close to the 7-figure salary he thought he would get in free agency per year. It's interesting. Like, them giving him the franchise tag was just the L to begin with, but they had to, because Zeke also left. They're relying on aging past his prime back in the first place. But behind Pollard, there's not a lot there. And Big D is looking a little deficient. All right, let's ride this out. All right, the last thing we'll get to today, better or worse. For Giants, running back is all about Saquon Barkley. And yeah, they've actually just signed James Robinson and another running back, because they're concerned about him holding out. Because if he doesn't show up, if it lingers into the regular season, they're going to be screwed. Because there's another article on NFL.com that talks about 10 running backs that are the engine of their offense. And Saquon Barkley is definitely the straw that stirs the drink there in Gotham. So, it's going to hurt them if he can't, or he's not going to be there. But, it might actually save his legs, or, save him from some kind of punishment. I don't think he needs to come in there and learn the system per se, but it just speaks to the market, man. Running backs around the league are pissed off because they're not getting what they, should be getting, but that's because of capitalism, and, it's a, mirror effect, because NFL is a sport, but it's also a part of American society, and it operates under the same rules. And, according to the market, that's how you're going to get paid. And right now, it's a plug-and-play position. Chew them up and spit them out. Use them for 5 years, and don't, extend them past that. And who's the next guy? It's kind of sad the way the running back position is going out, even because it's half of the way you attack in the NFL. But it's so devalued, and I feel for these guys. But anyways, we're going to stop our video here. I hope you enjoyed it. But we all know you're not even watching, though. But it's all good, because as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.